Here they come riding in once again. It's the Outlaw Posse, now in effect. And today's Four Horsemen shout-outs go to T. Boomer, Becca Has Thoughts, James Stevens, and Mad Dog Mike are saddled up and ready to go. They're going to help us with today's college football invasion. And if you want to get your badge and get deputized and possibly get a random Four Horsemen shout-out like they just did, as well as be the comment of the day, it's just $2.99 a month. That's just 75 cents a week. That's just a half a bottle of water for the Outlaw during these Biden economics. Also, if you want to contact the Outlaw, I can be found on Twitter, aka X, at OCF Productions. And you can also do the Big Four, and they're free. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Now, today's topic is going to be about, are the SEC fans scared of the impending induction into the SEC of Texas and Oklahoma? Let's talk about it. I know the Oklahoma fans are in here because of something in the title, as far as the SEC fans and what their thoughts are on Oklahoma and Texas coming forward. Nobody's really talked about the fans and the people, just the SEC in general, how they feel. Everybody's asked Oklahoma and Texas how they feel about the SEC. They haven't asked the SEC people that. You know, you're an SEC guy. What do you think about the whole Oklahoma-Texas venture into the SEC? What do you see happening for those two programs?
Well, what I would like to see, honestly, would be what happened when Missouri came in and Missouri had a chance and they won the SEC East, right? So right away, I would like to see them come in and feel like, you know what I mean, they're a part of the SEC already, in all honesty. Oklahoma and Texas, their football program, it was different when you brought in even Texas A&M, who was, 6-7, 7-6, 8-4, you know what I mean? Every year it seemed like they could never get over the hump, whatever it may be. Missouri, once again, not doing really much. But, you know what I mean? This is a lot different. You're bringing in a Texas team that has a winning record against Alabama, right? So you're bringing in a Texas team that has went to the playoffs. Like you're bringing in an Oklahoma team that's won how many Big 12 championships in how many years? You know what I mean? Like you're bringing in consistent winning teams now. Texas, what I mean by winning, I mean they've won before. Right. I know a lot of people love to say, you know, Texas is back, blue blood, all this other stuff. Texas has a lot of money, but the winning is not to the degree Alabama and a couple others, Ohio State, have been, right? When you look at the consistency over time, we're talking national championships and stuff like that. We're not talking about just, 8-9 win seasons.
The last four teams they brought in before Texas and Oklahoma, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Missouri, they didn't have multiple-time national championships. No. Texas has won 4. I think Oklahoma's won 7. Y'all can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I think Oklahoma's won 7. So that's 11 national titles that you're bringing in here. They're not going to be intimidated.
Exactly.
So it's not, in Missouri, the argument, everybody keeps talking about kicking Missouri out. Missouri's went to the SEC title game twice. Yes. Texas A&M hasn't made it. Yeah, they haven't made it to a title game yet. So if you're going to kick somebody out, kick Texas A&M out if you're going to kick somebody out, right? And I do a lot of Uber on the side down here in Tuscaloosa, and I get a mixed bag about Oklahoma and Texas. I got an SEC hat, as y'all can see up here. It's got all the teams on it, and they'll say, "Damn, that's a nice hat." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I got to buy a new one because Oklahoma and Texas is coming in." And they're like, "Nah, you ain't got to worry about that because we don't want them here anyway." Yeah. A lot of the Alabama fans, they're not. A lot of them don't want Texas and Oklahoma in the
SEC. Scared.
And I'm an Alabama fan, but it sounds like maybe y'all scared that Texas and Oklahoma might come in and steal some of your glory.
Yes. I'm an Alabama fan. We know that. But I welcome Oklahoma. I welcome Texas. Why? Because I want to be able to go to Tuscaloosa. I want to be able to go to Norman. I want to be able to go to Austin and watch these games. Alabama and Oklahoma, are you freaking kidding me? This could happen how often? You know what I mean? Like We got to get past the point of winning and putting people down. You're talking about going and watching historic games at this point. Like, you screw Alabama, Vanderbilt, Alabama. I'll even say Alabama, Kentucky, whatever it may be. I want to see Alabama and Texas on a regular, Alabama, Oklahoma, whatever it may be. And we're talking in Tuscaloosa. We're talking in Norman, places like that. You know what I mean? And most of all, I want a chance to get a winning record against Texas.
That's going to take at least 7 years.
Well, I don't care.
Maybe longer because we're not playing them like we are Oklahoma.
No, of course.
What really pissed the old guard, all the SEC old guards off is the fact that, and I told you this earlier, is there's no divisions. So what if Texas and Oklahoma both end up tied for first? One of them's got to beat each other, but then the other one catches a loss somewhere, and Texas and Oklahoma end up in the first SEC title game.
That would be wild.
There's going to be some pissed off people.
Look, and you're going to have a lot of negativity in Norman and a lot of negativity in Austin for both sides. Because, I'm here in San Antonio. I go to Austin all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I damn near Austin's my second home at this point. I hear Texas fans all the time bitching about leaving the Big 12. Does that make sense to me? Absolutely not. But I think a lot of those fans are a lot like a lot of the Alabama fans that you encounter. They're scared at the same time because it's not like you're going to a place where you're just going to dominate. You're going to the SEC. Like it or not, most of the talent in the NFL comes from where? The SEC. You're playing against better competition at the end of the day. So I'm not saying that's going to translate to you losing more games. All I'm saying is it's going to translate to a hell of a lot more or harder time to get to the national championship, get to the playoffs. Good thing we're going to a 12-team playoff. That's all I'm going to say. And, you know what I mean? And it allows for a little bit more slight of an error between, Alabama, Oklahoma, all these teams to lose more than one game possibly and still get in.
Turd says that Texas has been a little better for a long time, Boomer, but I think Texas, if I'm not mistaken, does have a winning record against Oklahoma.
I don't know that one.
If you want to, but I think they do. Texas A&M is another team that didn't really want Texas and Oklahoma to come in. They didn't really have a problem with Oklahoma, but they did with Texas. And I really can't blame Texas A&M in a way because the SEC agreed not to do that, and then they did it. So, but they got a new commissioner, and the new commissioner says, I'm not that commissioner, and we're going to add Texas and Oklahoma because of the voting.
Greg Sankey is going to do what he wants to do. Texas can come into the SEC like they've done in the past in the Big 12 and think they're going to run the show when it comes to the conference. That's not going to happen in the SEC. Your money means nothing here. Plain and simple. Your TV deal with Texas means nothing in the SEC. We're not talking about millions. You're talking about billions. Whole different ball game.
Lynn Abbott says OU fans will cheer for Alabama to beat Texas. And me and Jonathan are banking on the fact that our teams and our universities and our people are a lot alike because that's why we're starting that new channel called Two Crimson Nations. Actually, I'm not completely an Oklahoma fan, but what we'll do is, like Jonathan said, we'll just have some Oklahoma guests on, and we'll call it the Two Crimson Nations because we're actually the only two teams in Major League College Football that claim crimson. I don't count Harvard because they're not in it. So.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of interesting topics. I want to get a lot of, a lot of Oklahoma fans on there, eventually players, right? I know we can get Alabama players, from that perspective and stuff like that. But, yeah. OU has dominated Texas since 2000. Yeah, and that's one thing I like about Texas and Oklahoma coming over as well because they're still going to be able to shit talk and play each other, right? And we're still going to be in the SEC. So, to me, it brings more money, more fandom. Hopefully the stadiums get bigger. It generates more money. You know what I mean? It's going to be a more positive environment, in my opinion, for the fans. Plain and simple. And you can pay the players now. Everybody wins.
If y'all don't mind, jump out and smash the like button. It won't take you but 5 seconds. Hit that like button and then jump back in here. It helps push the algorithm. Lets people know we're up and on air. At least I think that's what it does for us.
For the most part.
Jonathan would know more about that algorithm.
Yeah, it actually does. It's one of the signals it puts out. So it's called a signal. So Killer Breeze says OU is 17-8 in the last 25 games against Texas. It's you have dominated, but I will say this. Texas looks good under Steve Sarkisian. You know what I mean? They have a good quarterback. You know what I mean? They have Arch Manning. By the way, looming in the background, and JPC spoke to me earlier on this. And look, if Alabama has a crutch, it's the last name Manning, right?
God.
Peyton, Eli. We tend to not beat them. It does not matter.
I ain't telling you nothing else. That's supposed to be a secret.
But yeah, yes, the Mannings seem to beat Alabama on a very consistent basis.
The last time we played a Manning, Eli Manning, in Oxford, Mississippi, we got our ass handed to us.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was like 43-28, but that wasn't indicative of what went down that day.
Like that was.
I even had tickets to that game and didn't go because I knew. I was like, got an offer from a friend to go to the beach, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the beach.
It's a good thing you went to the damn beach.
I watch that massacre from the confines of Panama City on the beach, and then I won't be as pissed.
But yeah, one of my goals this year is to go to Norman to watch an Oklahoma game, though.
Yeah, I'd love to go, but that's a long ways for me.
Don't get me wrong, it's quite a. I mean, if anybody in the chat knows San Antonio to Norman, let me look this up real quick.
And it just feels right. I don't care what anybody says; it feels right. And another thing they point out about Texas, mainly, it ain't Oklahoma. The SEC people don't like the idea of adding Texas because of what's happened in the past with Texas. They killed the Southwest Conference. They sort of ruined the Big 12 in a way. And the Big 12 did recover and add a bunch of Mormon teams and shit. But the SEC people were afraid that they'll come in here and try to, throw around their swagger and their money and try to dictate things and take over. And Texas is probably telling them, no, we're not going to do that. But in the back of their minds, I bet you Texas people are thinking, yeah, we're going to come in and do things the way we've always done. That's what people worry about, with the whole horns down being a penalty kind of shit.
That ain't going to work in the SEC. We got cowbells at Mississippi State. You think horns down is going to be a penalty? No. It's not going to work. Greg, there's one thing.
They'll definitely maybe put it as a definition as a penalty. But I guarantee you there will be no penalizing on that. No, the referees won't throw the flag on them loud-ass, obnoxious cowbells. They're definitely not going to do it for this right here.
And believe it or not, that's actually considered a penalty. So it's supposed to be a delay of game. So when they do the cowbells in Mississippi State, it's supposed to be a delay of game. So you got a really good point there. So you have a penalty that's not enforced already. So you best believe the horns down will not be enforced in the SEC.
Well, the people in the middle part of America, like Texas and Oklahoma and even up into Kansas and Nebraska, we won't count Missouri because they're in that big middle part. It's a pile of shit.
Mid-poo?
That's mid-poo.
That's such a good name.
From St. Louis to Jefferson City to Kansas City to Joplin, it's nothing but a pile of shit in mid-poo. But
R.I.P. Joplin.
But all those heartland of America states, as they call them, in the Southeast, they all belong together, man. They belong together as a conference, in my opinion. Hey, Jonathan, what's those little badge things next to people's names? What is that?
You know what that is. It means they're members.
How you get one of those?
Well, you go to the YouTube channel and you spend 99 cents. Isn't it 99 cents?
It's $2.99.
$2.99, less than a bottle of water a week.
That's right. That's 75 cents a week. You get your badge right there, just like Big Cojones, Kelly, Killer Breeze, Jonathan, and others in here. You get your badge, you get deputized, and you'll get a random Four Horsemen shout out on the actual podcast, as well as possibly the comment of the day.
So Mad Dog Mike says, I've wanted OU in the SEC for about 20 years now. Yeah, I mean, Arkansas and them came over in what, 92, 3? I was young when they came over. I was like 7 or 8 years old. What year did Arkansas come over to the SEC?
92.
Yeah, that's what I thought, 92. Yeah, I was 7 years old. So I didn't remember much.
I was going to my prom in 92.
You're going to your prom.
That's right.
And I was in second grade.
With my high school sweetheart.
There you go. I knew it was 92 or 93. I knew that because we won the national championship, obviously, against Miami. Excuse me. But yeah, this whole realignment, I mean, it's got to create excitement for everybody. Brent Venables having another year under his belt. And me, I look at Brent Venables as an SEC coach, right? When you see him, that hard-nosed, fired up guy. He looks like an SEC coach. So I believe it just makes sense. Steve Sarkisian, he's just a tactician, right? So it makes sense. I think we're in for a lot of really good football. And I do love the fact that we're going to the 12-team playoff. So
that'll help out a lot because now you're able to afford a second loss, in my opinion. Whereas in the past, if you lost one game, you was just hoping for other people to lose at that point.
Yeah. So let's see here.
And I mentioned this in my last podcast. What Missouri and Texas A&M fans need to realize, and I know they want to hear this shit. They're going to think I'm trolling them. But they owe Texas and Oklahoma a debt of gratitude because Texas and Oklahoma was the teams they wanted in 2012.
Yeah.
And they didn't get them because of numerous reasons. But Oklahoma had a situation with the legislature there where they didn't want them leaving Oklahoma State behind. Texas had some of that with Texas Tech too, but things in people's minds have changed. Their outlook on that has changed a lot because you just can't do that, man. You got a brand in your state that's worthy of a big-time conference like that, you need to let them go and do their thing, like Oklahoma.
It didn't help either that Texas applied for the Pac-12 back then. People forget about that. Texas tried to leave for the Pac-12. I don't think many people even remember that.
Well, Texas and Oklahoma State and Texas Tech they were thinking about getting all four of those teams, and the Pac-12 decided at the last minute to snub their noses, which is what they did here recently.
Academic standards.
You see what happened? They listened to Kevin Warren's snaky ass in the Big Ten, their Rose Bowl love affair that they've had for 60 years, and Kevin Warren stabbed them right in the back, man.
I mean, he brought them in for the hug and everything and just went right around.
Exactly, man. It's like one of them old WWE storylines where, Shawn Michaels turns on Marty Jannetty, he turns his back and super kicks his ass into the mirror. Or a steel chair shot.
And it seems like, comment, if you guys are happy that you're coming to the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas fans that are listening right now, let us know, like, are you happy that you're coming over to the SEC? Do you think you should wait longer, another year or two? You think now's the right time? I feel like it's the perfect time.
Well, they originally were supposed to come in 2025.
Yeah.
But they hurried that up a little bit.
So as a Sooner fan, what OU road game would you recommend going to this season? Ole Miss, Auburn. That's an easy one to me. It depends on if you want to see your team win or not win. I guess you can say be competitive. To me, I've never been, but I want to go to an LSU night game. I heard it's one of the best venues you could possibly go to.
Yeah, as long as they don't beat you up.
Yeah, and that's why I said competitive. But it would still be awesome, even if you lose or whatever. I think, you know what I mean? So, but Auburn they put on a pretty good venue themselves.
You don't want to go down to Auburn.
I like their venue.
Unless it's New Mexico State. You might not have a problem winning.
Oh, my Lord.
I've heard the Grove at Ole Miss, as far as friendliness goes and being able to party with the other team.
And food.
I've heard Ole Miss is really good. I've never been to the Grove, but I'd like to go.
Yeah, I heard the food is top tier at the Grove. So as far as Southern food goes, I can tell you a place not to go ever, in my opinion, and that's Starkville, Mississippi. There is nothing there.
Well,
there is no venue.
Mine is Knoxville, Tennessee. They will throw shit at you. They'll throw batteries at you and everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Sort of Texas and Oklahoma fans have that with Texas Tech. Texas Tech throws tortilla shells out on the field. People.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell is that shit?